With rumors constantly circulating about a September Nintendo Direct and Mario's 40th anniversary coming up, Nintendo has to have something up their sleeves, and I want to talk about what it could possibly be. Before we speculate, let's rewind and look what Nintendo has done for Mario anniversaries in the past. Because if there's one thing Nintendo does consistently, it's follow patterns. Okay, maybe not, but we should still take a look. Back in 2010, Nintendo marked Mario's 25th anniversary by re-releasing Super Mario All-Stars on the Wii. Not a brand new game, but a nice little package bundled with a soundtrack CD and a booklet highlighting Mario's history. It was simple, but a nice souvenir for big Mario fans. I actually got this back when it came out and I loved it as a kid. The 30th was much bigger. Nintendo dropped Super Mario Maker on the Wii U, which completely changed the way fans engage with Mario games. For the first time, players weren't just running around levels, they were designing them, sharing them, and creating endless replayability. This wasn't just an anniversary celebration, it was the start of an entirely new sub-series and one of the Wii U's biggest games. The most recent anniversary, Mario's 35th, gave us a few things. Super Mario 3D All-Stars bundling together Super Mario 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy for the first time in HD, the Super Mario Bros. Game & Watch, a retro-style handheld that became an instant collectible, and Super Mario 35, which is a battle royale spin on the original Super Mario Bros., where you race against 34 other players to be the last plumber standing. It was chaotic and limited time, and it's sad that it hasn't been playable in a while. So here's the trend. Nintendo doesn't let these anniversaries go by quietly. They either dust off the classics, create something brand new, or throw in a mix of both. Now you might be thinking, okay, Nintendo has done something for every milestone anniversary, so what makes 40 different? And the answer is a lot. First off, 40 years is a massive number in gaming terms. Video games are still a relatively young medium compared to something like film. Most franchises don't even survive 10 years, let alone 4 decades. The fact that Super Mario Bros. Has been around since 1985 and is still at the top of the gaming world is actually insane. Mario isn't just still relevant, he's still the most recognizable gaming icon. He's had blockbuster releases across every console generation, he's selling tens of millions with each mainline title, and his movie adaptation just grossed over $1 billion a couple years ago. Very few gaming icons can say anything close to this. And here's where the timing gets interesting. The Switch 2 launched a couple months ago, and historically Nintendo uses Mario as a system seller. Super Mario 64 sold the N64, New Super Mario Bros. Wii kept the Wii alive at its peak, Super Mario Odyssey was the crown jewel of the Switch launch window, and Super Mario Odyssey was one of the best games for the Switch in the first year, outside Breath of the Wild. And on the Switch 2, we already got Mario Kart World with the system. However, there's no Mario platformer exclusive to the Switch 2. Almost every Nintendo console has gotten something in its first year. So what's something we could get? The first thing I want to talk about is a new Super Mario Bros. Collection. This era is one of Nintendo's most successful runs in terms of sales, but it's kind of overlooked when people talk about Mario's legacy. New Super Mario Bros. DS, Wii, and 2 each sold millions. They were the face of 2D Mario for over a decade, but here's the thing, unless you still own those systems, they're basically stranded there. Bringing them back as a modern HD collection would be huge. Imagine a Switch 2 bundle where you can play New Super Mario Bros. DS with widescreen support, or New Super Mario Bros. Wii with online multiplayer. That would get tons of people into those games. Now, realistically, Nintendo probably wouldn't include New Super Mario Bros. U since the deluxe version already exists on the original Switch, but even just the DS plus Wii plus 2 would be an incredible package. And then there's also lost media that you cannot get anymore in the New Super Mario Bros. 2 challenge packs. If you didn't already buy them, there's no way you can play them now. So including all those would be a great addition. And from a business standpoint, it's exactly the kind of easy win Nintendo loves for anniversaries. Now here's the big one a lot of fans are hoping for, 3D All-Stars 2. When Nintendo released the 3D All-Stars in 2020, people were hyped, but also kind of confused. Where was Super Mario Galaxy 2? That game is widely regarded as one of the best 3D platformers ever made, and it was completely absent here. Add to that fact that Super Mario 3D Land from the 3DS has never been re-released, and you have the perfect ingredients for a new compilation. Picture this, Mario Galaxy 2, Mario 3D Land bundled together with the other games, fully optimized for Switch 2. It also makes sense from a marketing perspective. Nintendo could position it as the sequel to 2020's 3D All-Stars, but with the missing pieces that fans been asking for. And because the original was a limited time release, they wouldn't be undercutting themselves, they'd be giving fans another chance to own a piece of Mario history and play these games in HD. Next up, I want to talk about maybe having something like another Game & Watch style collectible. When Nintendo released the Super Mario Bros. Game & Watch for the 35th anniversary, it seemed like just a fun novelty, but fans loved it. It wasn't meant to be a must-buy game, it was just a little piece of history you could put on your shelf or carry around for nostalgia. I really spent $50 on this, and yes, I would do it again. For the 40th anniversary, Nintendo could revisit this idea with a different retro-style mini-system. A lot of people may want a Game Boy style device, maybe with Super Mario Land and Super Mario Land 2, maybe even Super Mario Land 3, even though that's not really a Mario game. These games are under-celebrated, but they're hugely important. Super Mario Land was Mario's first big handheld adventure, and 6 golden coins introduced Wario for the very first time. If Nintendo wants to make a collectible that feels different from the 35th Game & Watch, this would be perfect. Another possible possibility is maybe a Mario themed Joy-Con or some type of controller. Imagine a set of bright red and blue Joy-Cons, or even better, Mario's hat red controllers with the iconic M logo. These could be marketed as limited edition Switch 2 accessories, similar to how Nintendo released special editions controllers for the Wii and Wii U and pretty much every system it seems. Even if they don't drop new hardware, they could easily put out Mario 40th Anniversary brand controllers or something like that. Now for the last thing I think is somewhat realistic is 40th Anniversary merchandise. We can't ignore how much Nintendo loves merchandising. In 2020, the anniversary wasn't just about the games, there were t-shirts, plushies, Lego sets, even though those weren't technically part of the set, and they were very expensive, but people didn't care. I would expect something similar this time, maybe a 40th Anniversary Lego set, which I would buy if it's anything like the NES or question mark block. I doubt that happens though, because we actually did get a new Mario Lego set this year with the Mario Kart set. Wasn't really a 40th Anniversary set, but it's still cool. Or maybe we get another new amiibo line with Mario characters. We already saw how insane the Box Boy amiibo market got, so if Nintendo makes a 40th Anniversary Mario amiibo, it's gonna sell it instantly and probably cost hundreds of dollars in a few years. Now let's talk about some things that probably won't happen, but are just fun to speculate about. Ever since Odyssey launched in 2017, fans have been asking for a sequel or at least a full 3D Mario game. The game sold a ridiculous amount and it's universally beloved, and it set the standard for modern 3D platformers. For years, rumors have circulated that Nintendo had planned DLC kingdoms for Odyssey but scrapped them, and maybe, just maybe, those ideas grow into a full sequel. And you know what? It probably did, but not what we were thinking. The same team just finished Donkey Kong Bonanza, so unless a new team works on it, it's not happening, and Donkey Kong Bonanza is already very similar to Odyssey, but just with Donkey Kong. And also, I don't think there's any chance a new Mario platformer comes out this year and competes with Bonanza, so this is almost certainly not going to happen. Now here's another idea for a type of legacy collection, one that bundles almost every single mainline Mario game in one package. So it could have Super Mario Bros. 1, 2, 3, Lost Levels and World, the Game Boy titles, the new Super Mario Bros. Series, the 3D era, probably just not including Odyssey and 3D World since they're already on Switch. Realistically, Nintendo would never do this because a lot of these are already playable on Switch, but it would be cool to have these as a part of a physical collection. Another long-shot fan favorite idea is Super Mario Maker 3. The first Mario Maker revolutionized Mario level design. The second expanded on it with slopes, which I remember when that was a big issue with the first one, but the online sharing was better, there was more power-ups, there was 3D World, which even though it wasn't fully 3D, it was at least another theme. But what if they introduced 3D Mario level building? Imagine a 40th anniversary edition of Mario Maker where you can create Odyssey-style sandbox levels or Galaxy-inspired gravity puzzles. That would take the series to a whole new level. Now again, the odds of this happening are just so low, but we can dream. Something I think is a little more likely, just because of Nintendo trying to market the next Mario movie, which we don't really know anything about yet. Maybe they make some game that ties into the film, maybe a smaller scale 3D platformer set in the movie's world, or even a spin-off title where Illumination's designs are front and center. And again, this one's more marketing driven than gameplay driven, but Nintendo has leaned into cross-promotion before. If they want to make Mario's 40th appeal to a younger audience, a movie tie-in wouldn't be the craziest idea. Again, I don't think this happens. I think maybe we get news on the Mario sequel, but I think it's still a ways away. And the last idea I wanted to talk about is kind of a wild card. A brand new Mario sub-series no one sees coming. Think about something like Luigi's Mansion. It was a surprise when it debuted. Even Captain Toad Treasure Tracker was born from a minigame in 3D World. Nintendo could easily reveal something fresh for Mario's 40th that isn't just platforming. Maybe a puzzle game, maybe another battle royale, or maybe something just completely experimental. The chances of this are slim, but who knows? Maybe Nintendo does something surprising because they seem to always just come out of nowhere with crazy ideas. So those are just some of the ideas, and with September coming up, it's very likely we're going to get a Direct. I know every channel is talking about it, and we have to get something for the 40th anniversary of Mario, especially with the Switch 2 being new. Like, I can't see Nintendo doing nothing here. Maybe we don't get anything as big as the 35th anniversary, but we got to get something, and whether it's any of these or something completely new, I think we're all looking forward to it. If you watched however long into this video, that means you're definitely interested in what Nintendo is going to do, and you're probably thinking of your own ideas, so I want to hear them in the comments. Also, if you enjoyed this, be sure to subscribe and like, as it really helps me out. This has been Domain with Game Domain, and I'll see you next time.